Hello, welcome to Cooking with Gina. My name is Gina Virginia Casella, and I'm having a bit of a late morning here. Those of you who know me, I like to do my spirit work in the morning, first thing. I usually wake up at 3:10, 4:10 in the morning. That was when I was in the Pacific time zone when I lived in BC. And now that I'm in Ontario, I feel like I'm starting my days at 3:10, 7:10, and I was being hard on myself. But when I thought about it, really, I feel like I'm still functioning in the Pacific time zone. So that's okay. And I'm wondering if you can relate. Also, I'm wondering if you can relate to the seasonal transitions. Every fall, every spring, I tend to need more sleep. I'm already the kind of person that needs more sleep. So when I'm not feeling well or when there's seasonal changes happening, then I need to sleep more, and that's okay. But you know what? For what it's worth, I'm an early bird. I like to go to bed early because I really resonate weaving my wisdom in the dark. And I just love summer. Those of you who know me personally, I'm a total beach bum. I love the beach, but I love summer. I love the sun, but it's the darkness, and I have a hard time sleeping in the summer because it's so bright for so long. And so right now it's the equinox. It's pretty much 50-50, 50% daylight, 50% night, and I'm welcoming this darkness. And every day that goes by, it's getting darker and darker. And so in my Facebook group, Present Moment Alchemy, I wrote a little thing about the equinox maybe 2 or 3 days ago if you wanted to read it. And I'm going to start reading stuff from my Facebook group because a lot of folks out there are interested in what I have to say. So I need to get an apron. I'm wearing a house coat right now. And I thought about doing my hair and makeup. I thought about putting on my apron, which has been consistently the same tank top and shorts that I've been wearing. But you know what? It's just me being authentic here, everyday cooking, and homemade is best made, even if it's a peanut butter sandwich. So I'm wondering, how do you start your day? And do you have an apron, or do you have a special set of clothing that you wear? The house coat is always a safety hazard. My sister, when she was in grade 2, her teacher was cooking. I don't remember the details, but basically she was wearing a house coat and was standing too close to the stove, and her house coat caught on fire, and she actually didn't return to school for the rest of that year. And I think she just ended up retiring early. But that really stuck with me. And so I know I'm being hypocritical by wearing a house coat, and I wanted to share that with you. And I got to get to the store and pick up an apron because for myself personally, I now that I'm awakening to this, I need to make those changes in my life to keep myself safe. So what's on the menu today for breakfast? Well, I'm determined to have that tomato sandwich. I got half a tomato here, so I'm going to have a tomato sandwich. There's some vegan mayonnaise in the fridge. I'll show you that, how it looks like. I keep bread in the freezer. I also enjoy it just, room temperature. It's my favorite way, actually. But I keep bread in the freezer as well, just to help balance my groceries and make sure the bread stays fresh. I'm wondering if you can relate. And I'm going to make 2 slices of toast. So I'm going to toast 2 slices of bread, I should say. So one slice is going to be like the tomato sandwich. And then the other slice, I made these granola bars the other day. And I'm going to intentionally break it up a little bit and put it on my other sandwich. So, and I also have a little bit of leftovers from yesterday. Some of that apple salad, if you will, and the olive salsa. This was intended to be leftovers, but I think the person who was supposed to take them for leftovers accidentally left them behind. So, oh well, I guess I get to eat them. So I'm just using resources that I have here, and I'm just gonna boil 1 cup of water right on the stovetop. I'm gonna make coffee. I've got access to instant coffee, and I'll show you the coffee I'm using and the kind of milk. So And I know a lot of people there are really into their coffees. And one time I mentioned this coffee brand to people and they were just completely horrified. So this could trigger you, okay? But I personally enjoy Maxwell House coffee. I also enjoy Tim Hortons coffee, McDonald's coffee. I enjoy Starbucks coffee. And for me, I just keep coffee really simple. I do prefer it brewed. And when I can, I like to buy the coffee beans. And then what I like to do is grind it up a good week or two supplies worth of coffee beans. I went through a little phase where I was grinding coffee every day, but it wasn't realistic for my lifestyle at that time. So anyways, I got some instant coffee here from Maxwell House, and I'm not getting endorsed by these brands, just sharing with you what I'm using. So this is great for when you're camping or if you're short supplies, and you just take a teaspoon of it, add it to your cup, and when the water is boiled, you just mix it together. If you want your coffee to be on the weaker side or the stronger side, then you just add less or more. So that's what I love about it, because it's cooking. I don't like to follow rules in the kitchen. I like to just be creative and make things work. So I'm going to get that milk out to show you. So the kind of milk that I'm using, it's not real milk. It doesn't come from a cow or a goat. It's just called milk, like almond milk, cashew milk, rice milk. It's just like a white color. And it's like milk because of that. So if you're listening to this, if you hear me say milk, I mean vegan milk. Okay. So this brand, I'm not being endorsed by it. It's called Earth's Own, and it's working out for me. I forget what I paid for this, but it was affordable at the grocery store. And I noticed a lot of vegan milk doesn't have to be refrigerated and it's affordable. There's also some vegan milk that's super, super expensive. And just like anything, there's just because you're paying more money doesn't mean you're getting better quality. And so I'm interested in what vegan milks you're using. For myself personally, I didn't know any different. I was using the plain milk, and I just really wasn't enjoying coffee. And then one day, by accident, I bought vanilla because that's all they had on the shelf was vanilla, and I didn't make the connection vanilla flavor, plain flavor. I just was exposed to plain only. And I came home and I had some vanilla flavored milk coffee, and it was really life changing. So if you're transforming into the vegan ways of knowing, it's worth it to buy vanilla. At least for me, I don't add sugar to my coffee, and I haven't compared and contrast the sugar content with the plain or the vanilla, but for what it's worth, the sugar content in here, if you have a cup of it, has 7 grams of sugar. It's got all this other stuff in there, different vitamins, has a lot of 42% vitamin B12, riboflavin 31%, and phosphorus is at 16%, zinc 9%. Everything else is like just a few percentages, and calcium at 23%. 300 milligrams. So my water is almost at a boil. And I wanted to show you too that yesterday, if you were tuning in, I was chopping up an apple to make my apple salad. And I just put the core in here. And it's just kind of starting to turn brown. And when you're infusing cucumbers or fruits into water, you can't just leave this sitting in there for days. It only really lasts a day or two. So you just give it a little stir. And just a reminder, or in case you weren't watching yesterday, I intentionally only filled this jug about halfway because there's just 1 apple core in there. So my water, it's almost at a full boil. So that's just going to take like another few seconds. I'm going to get a cup for my water. Here it is. And now my water is boiling. Everything happens simultaneously, right? So I'm going to take my hot boiling water. If you're new to this, you might want to do it over the sink, which maybe I'll role model. And I'm not going to look at the camera so I don't burn my hands, okay? So there. So my coffee, I just stirred and give it a second. Just let the instant coffee melt away, if you will. And I'm going to pour myself some water. Apple infused water. And the color didn't change. Sometimes, depending on what you're using, the color will change. And it smells good. It smells like apples, and it has just a faint taste of apple. It doesn't taste sweet or anything like that. And for my coffee, I have a heavy hand for the creamer. I always have. And I don't know about you, but I don't drink vegan milk by the glass. I only use it for coffee. I'm wondering if you can relate. I'm wondering if you eat cereal, if you use vegan milk, or maybe you just gave up cereal. Let me know in the comments. Love to hear about it. So I'm using sourdough bread. It's one of my favorite breads. And I just want to remind you that when you're cooking, whether you're using a toaster oven, a toaster, or a conventional oven like this, or even cooking on the fire, that, you know, each one is unique in its own way. And so you want to make sure that you are, when you're using a toaster, just to double check the numbers so you're not burning your toast. Your bread, when you put it in the toaster, if it's frozen, it's going to take a bit longer to cook, but you want to make sure that it's not burning. So I mindfully was reducing the number on my toaster because I noticed last time I made toast, it was on the burnt side. So while my bread is toasting, this here I just made with some leftover penne noodles. I added garlic stuffed olives, tomatoes, salt, pepper, and black olives. Super tasty and fresh. And on this side here, I chopped up an apple with cinnamon, added a bit of lemon juice to it. I also put in some dates and almonds. And I don't know what to eat first. Everything's so tasty. If I could make this again, I would add more dates to it. Super delicious. And what about you? Do you eat dinner for breakfast? So I'm using a quarter of a tomato. I have half. I cut the half in half. And it's in good shape. If I wanted to eat the whole tomato right now, I could. Then I want to save this other half for tomorrow so I can have another toasted tomato sandwich. So sometimes in the kitchen, things happen fast. And whenever I'm in the kitchen, usually I'm alone. But when I have company over or something, it's like stay out of the kitchen because it's just too easy to accidentally stab somebody with a knife or spill hot oil on them, hot boiling water. And so it's something to be mindful of. Anyways, my toast is ready here. I like it lightly toasted. So I'm going to put some butter. And this vegan butter that I'm using, it melts, but it doesn't spread like non-vegan butter. Whatever, it's still tasty. And if you're like me, I can't stand crumbs in the butter. So I'm wondering if you can relate to that. And the butter that I've been using, again, I'm not being endorsed by these products. I'm using Earth Balance butter. So there you go. The one side I'm keeping for my granola bar, and one side I'm keeping for my tomato. I like to slice up my tomato on the thin side when I'm making toasted tomato sandwiches. And this is Earth Island, and it's called Veganese. Veganese, maybe for mayonnaise, Veganese. And I'm just going to assemble this with some salt and pepper, and then I'll be right back. So because I've never used the Veganese before, I just did a little taste test. I like it. It doesn't have a zing to it like Miracle Whip. It's more of a mayonnaise, but it has more zing than mayonnaise does, but definitely not like Miracle Whip. I also found it to kind of have like a salt taste to it, which is good. And it's just a reminder when you're trying new foods to, do those little taste tests. Food appreciation, because if you don't like it, you still have to eat it unless it's like, really, really bad, you're gagging on it. So I like to salt my tomatoes, and I love fresh pepper. And then I put my knife in the sink, but I just to help fold it in half here. So there's my toasted tomato sandwich. And for the next, it's hard not to dive into it right now, but for the next one, I'm going to take my granola bar that I made. And if you keep it in the fridge for a couple of days, it holds its form better and better. But I like to eat it, and just as is, I tend to chow right down. So I'm going to take a bit of this out, and I'll be right back. So my cat Rosie is here again. I guess she wants some attention. Hey, Rosie. It's cooking with Rosie. So my breakfast is ready. I've got my apple infused water. Really good. I've got my toasted tomato sandwich with the veganese mayonnaise. And then I've got my coffee with the vegan milk. And I'm just pressing the granola bar here. And if you didn't catch this, you can catch this on a different episode, how I made this. And it's basically made of poppy seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and I put some dried cranberries, and I snipped up some dried apricot. So that's it. Oh. I'm really looking forward to the toasted tomato sandwich. Super good. Right. And it's really fresh tasting. If I wanted to, now that I think about it, that olive salad that I made, I could have combined that in here as well. So it's super delicious. This here I had yesterday, but on pumpernickel bread. I just didn't make a video out of it. And it kind of reminded me of just having like a nice hearty bowl of oatmeal. But I actually enjoy it like this better than having a bowl of oatmeal. It's really good texture. And for what it's worth, Rosie's not starving. I don't know about how your cats act, but she's got plenty of food. I think she's just jealous I'm talking to you and not her. I got my coffee here. And it's really good. So thank you for joining me on Cooking with Gina. I wonder how you can relate, how you're managing your leftovers, what you have for breakfast. And I'm wondering if you wear an apron or if you have a special shirt that you wear when you're cooking. How do you manage? I'm wondering if your cat's always in the kitchen meowing, acting like they're starving or something like that. I don't feed Rosie food when I'm cooking at all. So anyways, thank you for joining Cooking with Gina. And I'd love for you to join my Facebook group, Present Moment Alchemy. And I'd also love for you to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Gina Virginia Casella. So thank you again. We'll see you soon.